All right, so we are back here in Oxford Mills for another site tour. A lot has happened since we last visited. We have a ton of things to talk about, a lot of details to show. I want to start right here with the Siga. We use Siga on all our exterior house wrap. There's a few different details compared to Zip System or Tyvek, for example. Not to say that one's not better than the other, but install and quality of install is far more important than the actual material. But we are quite happy with Siga. It's worked out well. Justin, our rep, was here last week. We covered all the details we were installing. He made a few little recommendations that were great, and very happy to have him provide us some information and some technical details. We do have our tape on all our joints, which is very important. We do lap them a little bit. We've overlapped onto the top plate, and we're going to be tying our Siga into our 6mm poly above the ceiling, so that we have a continuous, basically, balloon on the entire house. And these are important for weather barriers, but they also act as air barriers, which is very important to us. So down here, we're gonna have a detail where we've sealed it right to the concrete, and we bring it up and fold onto there. So we've really tried to create as airtight a system as possible. When you're installing this, you always have to be very careful and very, I wouldn't say gentle, but you have to pay attention to what you're doing. Any penetrations here for like this, there's a few spots around that we've torn the Siga a little bit, so we're gonna go back before siding and just put a patch tape on over top of that. We really wanna make this house as airtight as possible. It's really important for net zero, even though we aren't going for net zero in this house, but all the same, it's just really good practice to make sure everything's taped up and sealed. Around the window detail, so we bring it down, the Siga is cut back, so this tape is actually sealed right to the OSB, and then we fold it over onto our windowsill. We'll do another piece of tape around here just prior to window install. Once the window goes in, we're gonna have our nailing flange on the outside of the wall here, and then we're gonna put another layer of tape, Siga tape, over top of that flange, leaving the bottom open so that if water ever does get into the window jamb, it has a way to get out. But this will all be foamed, and we use Hilti foam for all our windows and doors. It's a great product, very economical, so it makes a lot of sense for us to do that. That, in a nutshell, is how we do our window and door install, but just taking the care and make sure to go back, and all this stuff has to be rolled with a J roller to make sure we get a really, really good bond between the Siga, the OSB, and our structural members over here. Down here, you guys remember the foam we did during the concrete pour. So this is what the final product looks like, and you can see that it's perfectly in line with the outside edge of the wall, so that we have continuous foam right down from the foundation on the bottom all the way up, all the way along here where we're gonna have spray foam in the wall, and we also have foam on the inside of the OSB, and then it ties into our insulation detail right in the attic. So you can, again, we have an entire encapsulation of insulation all the way around the entire house, which provides vapor barrier and obviously insulation resistance. Wanted to bring you inside, show you a little bit more. Okay, so we're here in our utility room. We still have a couple walls to build here. We're going to be doing the next day. We met last week with the electrician, the HVAC guy, and the plumber, and reviewed where everything's going to go to make sure we have final locations based on sizes. So in here we have all of our septic work over here, electrical. We have 2 plumbing manifolds. We also have our HRV. We have our heat pump, and then we have all our water filtration system for the well as well. That'll all be coming in here, and it'll all be set up in this room. We figured out all our locations. And the way we're gonna be setting this up is actually the ductwork is gonna be all through the attic. We're gonna be building tunnels, heated tunnels all the way through. And we've already figured out all those locations. So all the ductwork's been ordered. Some of it's already on site. The rest is coming this week. And even though we don't quite have the roof on yet, this is something we just wanna push ahead with. With the 7,000 square foot house, it doesn't make sense to wait for everything to be buttoned up. We've had the worst weather. It's either been pouring rain or it's been 35 degrees and sunny. Which would be like 110 in Fahrenheit. Just so warm, we haven't really had the productivity we've wanted, but we still need to push ahead. We still have a schedule to meet here. The rest of the garage still needs to be sheeted out, so we'll continue to put our ISS foam on the walls. I'll explain what that is in a minute here, but we'll be getting all that on the walls, and we'll get our vapor barrier in here as well, because this is an unheated space. This is a heated space. We need to create a weather barrier to make sure we have protection for our dew point. Let me take you through here. Again, you can see the transition of the foam from the heated space to the unheated space. Now this is bedroom suite 1. We have a kitchenette planned for this wall here. This is a living room. And then there's one more wall to go up in here for a bedroom. This is a little reading nook he has here. And then we have a bedroom back here and a full bathroom. So we've already set up for our plumbing. We have our sink, our toilet, and our curbless shower right here. And then this just needs to get cut out for a niche as well, which is why you see it there. So I've covered that before. You've seen how that works. It's not too complicated. Let me take you over here. So what we use on the exteriors of our walls is this is an R5 continuous insulation. It's adhered to the OSB. It's called OSB comfort board. So this is an R5 continuous insulation all the way across. And then we fill all our cavities with spray foam insulation, which gives us an R30 plus 5 or R35, depending on your location. And that's how we make sure that we have our maximum air sealing, and we also have our maximum insulation value. Let me take you over here and show you some other stuff. So as you can see, we're sheeting the roof right now. But I wanted to talk a bit about over here. So our current plan is to build what we're calling the tunnels, the roof tunnels inside here. So what we're gonna do is bring OSB across like this, and we're gonna just blanket the whole thing in insulation. So obviously we have to make sure our vapor barrier is tied in properly, but this will house all of our supply lines, our electrical supply lines, our plumbing supply lines, and all our HVAC trunks all in one tube. And Jesus, there's a bee after me. There's also gonna be Cat 6 cables that'll be in here as well, that allow them to fish anything coming down the road. So we're gonna create these tunnels across all distances of the house. They'll all tie into the utility room, and we'll be able to access them through a few different closets, things like that. It's all been planned out ahead of time, and that's how we're planning to deal with all this. Unfortunately, the only other way to do this that I know of is to build bulkheads everywhere, and we'd rather not have those intrusive bulkheads in the existing building. So this has become our solution. We do have some vent pipes that we'll just tuck underneath the vapor barrier above, so it shouldn't be a big deal, and they'll be completely blanketed on the insulation. But as far as supply lines, anything we have to access in the meantime, in stages down the road, will all be covered in here. Next week, we're gonna have the roofers here to dry everything in. Windows should be going in shortly as well. And before you know it, we're gonna be installation here a week or two. So until next time, that'll be it. See you later.